So today we're honoring the Battista family and their rich legacy as the previous owners of the legendary and iconic Hacienda Hotel in downtown Newport Richey. So let's all honor them with a great cheer. Yay, Battista family! We're at the grand opening of the historic Hacienda Hotel in downtown Newport Richey, built in 1927 and now restored to its opulence. It's the bee's knees and the cat's meow.
This is room 115. This is one of our double queen rooms. Overlooks the courtyard. Nice full shower.
Slept in here a couple times.
You remember this room?
Yeah, I slept in this room.
This is where the little people lived, so
Yeah. I cleaned this room.
the kids were in here more than I had cleaned. Very pretty.
Yeah, it looks good.
Very nice.
Do you remember this room?
Yes. So we had house guests. Like on the bottom floor here, we had like 12. How many rooms are here? They came with from the previous owner when they purchased it, and so we had house guests that stayed on the bottom floor year round.
Yeah, they lived here
So
permanently.
we cooked them breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day, and they just yeah.
Absolutely.
Cleaned their rooms and took care of them.
Right.
Yeah. It's great.
52.
How many are there now?
In the sinks and the bathtubs, and he'd literally go pull them out of the dumpster and put them in some property somewhere. And they're probably still spread all over.
Because they're original, though.
Yeah.
I was just saying.
The furniture, they threw out all the furniture. He went and grabbed the furniture and hauled it off. Dressers, chairs,
Sold it, yeah.
and all these rooms had, the windows that opened up.
Oh,
They
the
took all those out.
Transoms.
Yes, they took all those out. He, and took the doors out, and they were beautiful doors. I mean,
They also took out it.
but yeah,
There was
he
a
could have made
staircase
killing.
they took out as well by the apartment that we lived in. There was a door that went out to the
Oh, that's
staircase
upstairs.
that went up.
Oh,
to
you
the
lived
third
here?
floor, yeah.
When we first
And
moved here, that
Awesome.
9-room apartment.
Yeah, we lived there.
Over the kitchen.
kitchen.
That's where we stayed until we found a house. Or
Yeah.
they found the house.
This was your home.
Yeah, at first, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And then they said it was the bordello and the red paneling. I had to drive to Chicago to pick up that damn paneling and bring it back. And
It sounds better the
There was no bordello.
yeah, and then the other funny thing is, the fountain and the old setup.
John's giving the true story.
There was no fountain. Nick and I put it in.
You heard the story from the source.
But I did hear so we put in so there's a building in Ybor City that they tore down. So of course, my father being my father, sent us to go get the brick, bring it back.
Resourceful. I love that. I love your
And then
dad.
we sat every single brick in the sidewalk out there around the fountain. And yeah.
They did change the, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it looks beautiful now.
It used to be
Yeah.
a bench.
Yeah,
And then
around it.
that's where we'd hold the weddings and there we'd, you know, have a
There's a
little
gazebo in the
thing,
corner.
gazebo and yeah. Yeah. But yeah, there's some fun.
What's your happiest memory here?
Next?
You know what, when the parties, the
Yeah.
Chesco Fiesta,
Chesco
used to be
Fiesta, the ink
That was
spots.
fun.
Tiny Tim.
Tiny Tim.
all the other two.
Yeah.
The ink spots was when we moved here. You had the ink
Yes.
spots, and my grandparents had to go, and they saw Tiny Tim.
Yeah,
Sharp
Tiny Tim
Harvard
came twice.
I will tell. We had Frankie Fontaine. We had Rudy Valley. We had.
Rudy Valley.
Yeah, we had.
Oh my
Guy
God.
Lombardo.
Guy
Guy
Lombardo.
Lombardo, I remember that. Yeah.
And out of all, and there was a couple of them that were hard to deal with. Rudy Valley, you know, with the megaphone.
The megaphone, yeah.
He was kind of a jerk, but you know.
So was Frankie Fontaine. He was
Frankie
terrible.
Fontaine was, you know, crazy Guggenheim. He was funny on stage, but in real life, not so much. Tiny Tim was the best.
He was the gentleman.
And we had him here over and over again. And he would do his show. You know, he was his and here we got a musician, musicology, right? Musicology, you know what I'm trying to say. But anyway,
Musicologist.
right. Tiny Tim had that.
The ukulele.
Go through, you know, that was the only song he did that way. The rest of the show, he was down on his knees.
he had a beautiful voice.
He'd be sweating and he'd be singing, and the crowd went. I mean, he was the greatest entertainer in my
So you
opinion.
want to hear a funny story? What John did at about 12 years old? He put on a wig, he got a little ukulele and a little paper bag, and was doing the Tiny Tim invitation in the restaurant. And here comes Tiny. He loved it. He absolutely loved it.
Flattery, the best imitation, the best form of flattery.
He was
Correct.
a real gentleman.
Yeah, he was just a nice. He ate a
He was
ton.
weird but very sweet.
So which room did he perform in? The farthest one over
The
there?
big room.
Oh, the big room.
Yeah. Yeah, so this was where the house guests were when we.
So what was the rent in the 70s to live
That
here?
I don't know.
I can't remember. It wasn't very much.
Probably very little.
I did the restaurant bookkeeping at
I'm
one
kind of
time.
thinking it was like $27 a night or something like that. I think that's what it was, 27.
Your prime rib was under 12 and it was
Yeah.
delicious.
Right.
Yes.
The fish fry and all that stuff.
Your ravioli and gravy was to die for.
Every birthday, that's what you'd make me, the raviolis. You know, that was my birthday
We
dish.
have the prime rib with raviolis. We'd order as a side.
Well, I haven't had lunch yet. I'm hungry.
So yeah, it was the entertainment, I would say.
Yeah.
And then in the 80s, in the early 80s, our band started playing here a lot, and where you came a lot.
Shadowfax.
Yep, Shadowfax.
Yes.
And then we turned it into kind of a disco.
Yes, that's what I remember.
Yeah, we had the disco going,
Yes.
and the DJ booth, and the lights, and all that kind of stuff. And those are probably the fondest memories. And
Everything else was just work.
yeah,
Rework, yeah.
We were one wedding where they were
her,
dishes.
me, her, my brother Nick, my brother Michael. We worked. We were the maids. We were the cooks. We were the bartenders. We were the,
Fighting with the spirits in the basement,
That's right.
turning on and off
her
the
and I
breakers.
cleaning up brains off the
No,
wall.
I didn't do that.
It wasn't pizza, by the way, as you were told. It wasn't
It
pizza.
wasn't pizza.
Yeah.
It wasn't. I can
Do we
show
know
you
the room number?
I do.
Okay.
I don't know if it's the new room.
Oh,
but I
there
can
was
show
down
you.
there.
It was next to 227.
Yes, right next to 227.
We were all
It's
in the
an
bar
entry
one
level.
night and we heard a big thump and some fella had jumped out the window.
He didn't die.
You survived.
He jumped out that window back there, hit the deck, and then rolled off and hit the guy. And he
Came in, had a drink.
I'll have a beer. Steak.
And the bar was where the terrace is,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, the bar
The original bar is that little restaurant.
It was
that's-
very dark and
Yes.
very crowded.
The original
The
one,
sacred
yeah.
one, yeah.
But then you moved it
They-
onto that. That's where I
moved
remember it.
outside. It was so popular, you couldn't get in. My cousin
In
and
the
I
state
ran the
room. In the-
restaurant
yeah,
and
the
bar
original.
as hostesses.
Yeah, both.
And we knew everybody when their car pulled up. There's the scotch and water. There's the Crown Royal. There were 3 people deep there every single night.
And the jukebox in the corner.
Oh, the jukebox and the little machine where you put a quarter in to play a game.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the place to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we'd all go over to Rocco's.
Oh,
Over there because he had a band.
How was downtown at that time? Was that a place where people would come like how it is now, or not really? Like the
It
rest
was
of downtown.
it was
very
good,
different.
but it wasn't like all
Like
the
today,
bars
yeah,
and
right.
It was all
restaurants.
local people.
Yeah.
All the people, there was all these businesses and everybody.
Yeah.
All the was always here.
Yeah, politicians. We had lots of
Everybody.
politicians.
Lots of
All
weddings.
the
Yeah.
judges used to come for lunch.
John Gallagher was here.
Yeah.
Milbauer?
Milbauer was
Richard
here
Milbauer,
every
he was a
single
Johnny
thing.
Short.
All of
He
them.
came for breakfast every single day.
Richard came every day.
Every single day for breakfast, and I don't know if he came for lunch as well, but he
No,
was here
came
every
for
single
breakfast.
day.
He was
Yeah.
he was I was talking to him one night. He was introducing John to Johnny Cash to get a record cut, and it wasn't like 2 weeks later, and Richard had died.
Yeah.
So, but he was here all the time. He was a good friend.
So let's talk about Johnny Cash.
Would have been my label, got me on his label. If I would have known Bob back then, I just would have.
You got there.
Forget Johnny Cash, I got Bob.
So Johnny Cash was here as well, like dining.
He lived down the street from us. Lived down the river.
On Sunset
On
Boulevard.
Sunset Boulevard. She used to play with John Carter.
Yeah, she would go play with the Cash kids
Yeah.
when they came to visit.
John Carter was
And
one.
One
he was
day,
very good friends with Des Little.
Yes.
And she was very good friends with Des Little. And so they,
So- So one Friday night, Des comes over. Come on, Jackie, we're going to go over. I'm going to introduce you to some people. So it was really, really busy. So my ex-husband said, no, you can't go. You got to do applesauce or something. So Des finally drags me out. We get there. Guess who we were going to meet, whose boat just pulled out? Johnny, June, Billy Graham, and his wife, Mrs. Graham. And we're waving.
And Des was on the boat too.
No, Des was with me.
Oh, okay, you're
Who would
waving.
be meeting Billy Graham? What would I say? Oh, wow. What an honor it would have been. But,
Yeah.
So we just waved, so Des, let's go back. Let's go back and get a drink. But Des was here all the time. His son Pete.
Pete was
very
here
good friend.
every day. And Pete brought in Johnny Cash
The whole little family.
when he was performing at Gulf High School.
Yeah, 1980.
And, Pete brought him in for a drink, and Pete is.
Nice group, though. They
Yeah.
were
Oh, we love them.
such
We love
nice
Pete.
guys.
We love Des. We love the whole little family and the Cublises and all of them, and they're all here all the time. And it's such a. Oh,
So where was your reception desk?
it was right here. So this. The elevator wasn't here. This was the office.
Yeah, there was a vault back there.
The vault.
Yeah.
This was an arch as well, and you could go from the office into the arch, and then it came this way. So
And I think the steps came down and then into
Yes.
the lobby.
And this was not a door, so yeah, so these 3 rooms were lost. So these were all rooms here. Because this was not an entry here.
it wasn't as it's an original entry,
But not at the time.
and then it shut down, and then they opened it back up.
And then you had your phone booth
Yes.
back in that corner
well,
where
there
the
was a phone
bookcase.
booth right here, and then there was one here and
And in the bar, and then this, I think we're the only
I'm trying to think. I think here and there.
8496161.
I can see Grandma.
What was that number?
8496161.
That's it. That's it.
I can see Grandma and Aunt Emma washing all the windows.
I watch the windows too.
Yep.
Awful watch for you.
Yeah, we painted this room so many times, and fireplace. And,
Well, they said there was layers and layers of paint.
yeah, I said that 30 of them are probably from me. You know.
Beautiful job.
Yeah, it looks great.
So yeah, this is where we'd open up both for big events. Like Dino Martin was huge, and we had to open up everything. And we didn't serve any dinner because there's so many people that bought tickets. We just lined up rows of chairs, and then yeah, and then we had a stage either there or here. And Frankie Fontaine and Rudy Valley performed over here. I remember that. The ink spots were great. They were really great guys, nice guys. When we would rehearse our little band, they would come down and like, hey man, well, let's tell you how to do this. You know? And we were doing Proud Mary, and they said, hold on, man. Stop right there. You know, if you come down to the river, they said, down, down, down by the. And we did some harmonies. They taught us some harmonies, and it was. We still do that to this day. We still do that.
Thanks
song.
to the ink spots.
Yeah, thanks to the ink spots. And then they said, do that. Break up some of your songs. You know, they talked about dynamics and different things, and it was just it was really cool.
Coaching from the ink
Coaching
spots.
from the
That's
ink spots,
pretty
yeah.
impressive.
And they'd hang out with us, you know, just sit around and talk with us. And,
Very nice.
yeah, very, very nice.
Remember the New Year's Eve party where Dad had all the psychics?
Yeah, they were
The
told
medical
about that.
psychic, or like all that was like, I remember that.
Tiny did a couple of New Year's Eves for us, and then other shows. But I remember he did New Year's Eve at least twice for us. He was just the best. He really was. He was so cool, and he ate. Remember when he ate? He'd want a pound of spaghetti. He'd want like an egg, you know, a tray of eggplant parmesan. You know, loaves of bread, not a loaf, but loaves of bread. Yeah, and we would bring it up to him to his room, or he'd
He stayed across from 228. I mean 227. So was that 228?
They changed the numbers.
He wasn't at Battista.
Yeah.
At WGUL, I
Yes,
think it was.
yes.
And the
Yeah,
only
right.
criteria was do not ask about Miss Vicky, who was his ex-wife. We walk in there, the first thing the fella says, so what's the story with Miss Vicky?
It's Thad Lowry.
But, yeah, Thad.
Oh, Mr. Lowry. Oh, of course he would say something like that.
He managed to get through it all. And I used to take his laundry to the laundromat, and the people were so excited. They were doing Tiny Tim's laundry.
We had a picture, and I wish I knew where all the pictures were, but we had a picture of Tiny Tim and all the kids. It was Tiny Tim, me, Tina, Michelle,
Dr.
Nick.
IQ, remember Dr. IQ?
Oh yeah,
He was here. We have pictures of him.
we had Dr. I forgot. About
Who was
that? The guy that had the television show said, "You just won a silver dollar."
Yes. Yes.
We had him here several times as well, and he did a show, and he would do the quiz show for the people that came for the dinner show. You just won a silver dollar. We can't find it.
I think there's one picture.
There's one picture of Tiny Tim autograph.
The only one picture of Tiny Tim.
But we had all
Someone
this.
that
What kinds of newspaper articles? I don't have any of that on my stuff as well.
The good thing about newspaper articles is we just go on newspapers.com and we can find them all. They're
In
there.
the Tampa Tribune.
We can find them.
Should be there.
The other thing is you could scan them, and for the museum, because we have a lot of the stuff from the 20s, 30s, 40s, but I feel like it kind of drops off between maybe 70s and then
60s,
60s, you know?
We were
when
here in
she bought it,
1974.
Right, and there's 4 owners, right? You said Des Little was one.
There's a little, the fellow that lived here, I can't think of his
The old,
name.
I can't think of his name on the
Yeah.
owner before. You would know. Because Annie knew.
The guy from the 50s
Yeah,
who opened the Matador
Yes.
Club.
Yeah.
Oh, he's
Simple.
Yeah, yeah,
Simple.
yeah.
So yeah, Yeah. So actually, and I think they had like four different owners at the time. And it was Semple, it was
Maxine Stein, did she own it at some point?
possibly. And when we got it, it was all Spanish. The
Matador Club.
Big bullfighting pictures everywhere. And so we took all that down. And then we tried to do what they did, but on our budget, and it was all family doing it. So the one thing he did do is when he came in here, these were black. And he took them and had them stripped and put back to the original brass. Then, when he sold it to the family Jewish store, it was like they painted them white.
White, yes.
And then when I came back in, I said, "Oh, they're back to black. They're back to black." You know. But, yeah, everything looks beautiful. I mean, it's sure does.
Should we go on the terrace out here? Okay, let's.
Someone was taking a picture from the
Then,
We
yeah, I
were
think I've
watching
seen
the
it.
parade, yeah.
You already, the Historical Society, I believe, has it.
Yeah. That's he's the new curator for the historical.
Someone else.
Someone else.
Yeah.
And he started him and Obenrader. And by the way, the 50th anniversary dress that she has is from Obenrader.
There's the picture.
Wow, look at that.
how glamorous.
That was on the back.
That was on the back.
Yeah, that was on the back. Mrs. Obenreader gave me everything to wear.
Yes.
So thank you.
So there it is that you created.
Well, yeah, we put it together.
Where did you find this fountain?
This
Ybor?
one, well, all the brick was from Ybor. Although they raised it because it used to be lower. Yeah. But yeah, Nick and myself did all this. And Anthony Fiore and some friends, Eddie Grubbs, Mike Sutton, those guys were here helping us. This was where we had the wedding. We had a gazebo over there, and then the chairs would line up, for the wedding, and then they'd go in and have the reception after the wedding. So
Where did the guy jump and land in the courtyard?
that was on the back.
The backside. Okay. That's the hall with all the activity.
Right, that hall right there. It's that hall right
But
there.
there too.
And
So
here?
isn't this where Tiny Tim stayed? 'Cause on the other side is 227 is the tower room, right?
Yeah.
So this is like 228.
It's not a tower room anymore. They separated it. Yeah. The tower's all by itself.
That was the best of that.
It's
That was
separate.
So cool.
It has its own entrance.
That's what made that room so glamorous, was that tower. You felt like that was Gloria Swanson, or Hollywood, Yeah, these balconies were really nice on both sides.
And we would set up tables out here as well, on big weddings or banquets when we couldn't fit everybody in there. They'd open the doors and we'd put tables from all the way across, all the way down. Or like did you go to the junior high prom? That was here.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes?
And there were so many kids that we literally put tables outside here. So there's a lot of. Now that door wasn't there before.
I was just thinking that too.
The stairway that used to be on the other side of the building, they removed that and then they put it over here, so you can go from up there on that top floor all the way down to the mezzanine level and also come into the courtyard here.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, that's one of the changes that they made when they.
What's the basement like?
Fun.
It's
Nobody-
different now.
It is different. I've seen it. It was very creepy back in the
I saw
day.
that ghost story that guy did. It was so baloney about the caged room and all that.
Yeah, there's no cage.
No.
But
Like,
the
they
basement
broke
was
in.
creepy.
Did you ever see that ghost story?
Yeah.
YouTube it. They broke into the hotel years later. And they were saying all this stuff about the basement. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, they always say Mr. Clark is haunting the balcony of the Richey Suncoast Theater. And whenever I took that tour, I'm like, I knew Mr. Clark. He used to sit in the recliner and watch All in the Family. I don't think he's a ghost. I can't imagine him rattling around.
Right.
That's not Mr. Clark.
No, you're right. It's not Mr. Clark. Yeah, that door was there. So that went down. There's little cement stairs. I don't know if they're still there. Yep, it is. Yeah, we always
I told him that. I never went there until that fundraiser and the architect took us on a tour. And he took us through there. I'm like, I've never been in there. I could see it from the apartment.
Yeah.
You look down. You never were allowed in there.
Oh.
Yeah.
They also want to know where the wrought iron from the staircases went. That's that. Yeah.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh.
We put them all. My father made gates, and we put them in. We built that wall because it used to just be open, so he closed it off to have the wedding stuff there. Yeah, the wall originally was not there. No. Well, none of us is there. Even the parking lot was not originally there. Exactly.
And I remember the sign was different.
Yeah.
It was a big sign with a marquee on it.
Because if you ever notice, I would put like "Hi Daphne" or or,
Go Bucks!
right, go on. That was the one that was down below.
That was down below.
And then we had the one on top. But I don't know. I guess, yeah, the Family Jewish Organization. Yeah, there was one over on the Bank Street side, above the door over there. Yes. That was already gone when we came. Yes. Yeah. And the walls were much higher. Somebody chopped them all off. Yep. Yeah. And we rebuilt, the Friends of Hacienda rebuilt that wall back to its original height. Yeah, you guys did a great job. I mean, it's just... Well, we couldn't let it go. Yeah.
No. No.
So happy you did that. Yeah. The Mazzulli brothers, yeah, all those guys, and they kind of came every night. Bud Brown, Des Little, Pete Little was here. But they would buy drinks, and this was a drop ceiling back then, and here the bar was here. And of course that was expanded. And Orville Williamson, and they would buy drinks and put them in the ceiling. Dr. Wilford T. Neal, Billy Pasco. Yeah, Billy Pasco, Pasco, the family, his name, he was kind of disowned from his family, so Dr. Wilford T. Neal kind of adopted him and took him in. And
Historian of Newport Richey.
Dr. Neal was, he had a newspaper column, and doing what you're doing now. That's what he used to do.
The teachers used to come here at night for
Yes, the drama teacher, what was his name?
Purdue? Connie Purdue? Humanities?
Yes.
With the beard?
Yes.
Hicks.
Yes, Mr. Hicks.
Waitman used to come.
Tom Waitman, Mr. Hicks was here.
Mr. Hicks was here having a cocktail every night. Oh.
In fact, if people needed to see him, they would come here to see him. They would come to the bar to see Mr. Hicks. Yes,
This
exactly.
was the meeting place, that's for sure.
Yeah.
The busy bar.
Yes, it was very busy. And the regulars were. And we're right next to the McCarts. We used to be next to Sir Toma and by Gary, but now we're there.
Oh, you're by Craig.
Craig, yes. We're right by
nice.
Craig.
I found one, but I couldn't find the other.
Where's yours?
Mine's over here. It's one for my dad.
Let's see the one for your dad.
Somewhere over here. Oh, right there.